How are you all? I've achieved something new already tonight. Earlier, I went to the bar and I bought a pint. That wasn't it. But the pint cost more than the jeans that I am wearing. Now, don't worry if you're buying a drink at the bar. These jeans were very, very cheap. I know that is not some clever pun about the poor quality of my material. So, anyway, a bit about me. I am married, don't look so surprised, to a woman. Don't look so surprised. I suppose these days you have to define what a woman is. It's a bit tricky to do that these days, isn't it? I think I better not bother. Speaking of gender, we have the coronation coming up. King Charles, I think it's next weekend, isn't it? And I was speaking to my nephew, and my nephew said to me, "Oh, you're doing a bit of comedy, Uncle John. Here's a joke that you can use." So there's my get out clause if it's not funny. He said, "What would happen if King Charles identified as non-gender before the coronation?" That's a very good point. He said, "Well, what would happen to the national anthem? Would it have to be God Save Our Gracious Thing?" Yeah, he's a transphobic teenager. He's not my favourite nephew anyway. So to be honest, I'm glad I said that was his joke. Yeah, so as I was saying, I am married. I've been married 15 years. I still introduce her as my first wife. It's good to keep your options open. But I could, that is a joke, I could never leave her because I have so much love for our home. To be honest, she did come here to support me tonight, but strangely, as I ran up here, she ran out of the door, so I'm not sure what that was about. But what was the next joke? His problem is I'm so late, I've drunk too much, that's the problem.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's good to have something in common with your partner, and we do share a sense of humour. We have to, she hasn't got one. Funny, that wasn't true. No, it's a good job she's not here. But actually, speaking of marriage, those of you that follow the news, you'll have seen there's a big news story. The former model Jerry Hall, she got an email from her husband, who is 92, and in that email, her husband dumped her, said their marriage is over. Now, if I was Jerry Hall, I'm not sure who I would be more surprised at, that a 92-year-old actually knows how to send an email, or the disappointment that you failed to satisfy a 92-year-old man. Guys goes at 100. So, well, my tips for married life are that you put up with a lot from each other. I found the first few years of my married life that my wife got my name on. She used to basically call me Justin, because she kept on saying to me, "Just don't." So, there we go. But it's good to be in Bournemouth Town Centre 20 years ago. I kind of surprised myself by getting married, because 20 years ago I used to go out on the town every Friday night in Bournemouth. Lots of different bars I'd go to with my friends, and we'd all go out with a hope on a Friday night, having a few beers and maybe putting a nice young lady. Now, some of these bars, sadly, I think they've all gone now. But structurally all gone out of business. That's nothing to do with me. But they all seem to have inappropriate names. So there was one not far from here called Bliss. Anyone remember Bliss?
Yep.
Yeah, it was next to Toko, wasn't it? Now, Bliss, inappropriate name. I left that bar on many occasions in the early hours. I never felt I was in a state of bliss. Being inebriated or frustrated might be a better name for that one. There was another bar down by in the IMAX building. Anyone remember Jumping Jacks? Yeah? Well, my friend had great bar in the same name, but he called it Humping Slags. But I never saw him seduce. I never saw him seduce anybody there. So, inappropriate name. And then sadly, I'm ashamed to mention this one. There was a bar up near the Triangle called Bumbles. And I remember Bumbles. Embarrassing, I shouldn't admit I went there, but again, inappropriate name. I never saw honey in there whatsoever. But it got so bad, I used to see the word pool on the nightclub door, and I thought they were taking the mick. But I even knew all the tricks. I would leave my drink unguarded. I leave my drink unguarded in the hopes that a woman might spike it to drug me and take advantage of me. And they never did. They never did. But yeah, I do something with my wife these days, not many after 15 years, but a few years ago, we were watching a television advert by the WWF, and it was for their sponsorship program. So we thought, oh, this is a great cause, so we signed up. But imagine our surprise when it turned out we were sponsoring a 1980s American professional wrestler. But ironically, it was called Animal, half of the tag team Legion of Doom. But sadly, he did die about a year ago. Then he was put down, I think it was the steroids. So, may not be funny, but you learned something tonight. So, yeah, we've got 2 kids, 13 and 10. Funny names, I know, but impractical names as well, because we have to change them every year. Awful lot of admin. My daughter, she's 13 on Monday actually. And I am a typical man in that I am absolutely useless at buying gifts and presents. Normally, I'd just get her a £10 Primark voucher. I know, it's very generous, isn't it? 10 quid, don't know how I noticed he could buy 3 pairs of jeans, so used to be a good present. But this year I thought I'd get something clever. So I bought her 2 CDs, one by Eminem and one by MC Hammer. Great presents for a bloke like me because I don't have to do any rapping. If that had gone badly, I was going to say that was for my nephew, but you laughed at that one, so that's okay. Family life is hard, isn't it? Those of you with kids, have you got any parents in? Yeah, the tired shouts there, aren't they? Tired shouts. Family life is hard, and to be honest, recently I've been losing my shit a lot. I don't mean I've been going mental. My wife's watched that Stacey Solomon show. She's been decluttering. Never mind. Oh dear. Yeah, I've also got a brother. He changed jobs recently. I said to him, "What's your new line of work?" He said, "Pet grooming." I said, "That is disgusting." He said, "Hey, I'm just attracted to very young cats and dogs." He also suffers from OCD, or as he calls it, CDO, because he likes the letters to be in strict alphabetical order. But going back to my kids, which the court allows once a month, they often talk to me about comparisons of their childhood versus my own childhood, and they're very different. For example, I went to an all-boys Roman Catholic boarding school run by Roman Catholic priests. And one thing I didn't realise until recently was that kids these days, when they go to school, they do not have to have a shower after games or PE. Not for them, the horrors of the showers after games. Now, this is very different to my school, back in the 80s and 90s, where we had communal showers after games and PE. Should just clarify, by communal, I do not mean a shower in which you took Holy Communion. Although I suppose in hindsight there were similarities, getting on your knees and having something placed in your mouth. But yeah, the worst thing was we had one teacher who took a very keen interest in the communal showers. So these communal showers, they had no cubicles, no curtain, no privacy basically. And one teacher, PE teacher, he took a very keen interest in the boys' personal hygiene. But to be fair, he was full of compliments. Nice tackle, boys. But that was said during the showering process. We used to have to do PE, very strict on the kit. It was either correct kit or no kit. And Sir strangely would forget his kit every week. Very bizarre. Do you want to see him naked? I heard a rumour that he'd got a job now as a Channel 4 producer. He's working on the show Naked Education, apparently, so that's a good fit. Anyway. But, to be honest, I wasn't one of the best looking boys when I was at school. Thank you for looking surprised at that, Dan. And in the end, I started to feel a little bit left out. So, in the end, I had to give the priests the lollipops. So, there we go. Dear, oh dear. It's a bit like therapy, this for me, only cheaper. Not that much cheaper, I've been to the bar, but dear. In other news, I joined a cult recently. This is the fastest growing cult in the UK. This is the cult of UK air fryer owners. Now, I'm not sure why I've told you that, because I heard some of you muttering earlier, and you seem to sense I was in a cult, unless I just misheard the word cult. But we are a very modern cult, with smart objectives. I wasn't going to join, but in the end I gave in to peer pressure, or as we call it, air pressure. And we worship at the high isle of the esteemed god of Ninja, otherwise known as curries. Now our main goal for the year is to be the most annoying people that non-air fryer owners will talk to, but we do have a bit of a way to go to get ahead of the vegans. Now my son, 10, he had a school project to do with Robin Hood, and one of the tasks was to bring in some food upon the Robin Hood theme. So I had an idea, I got some sweets, I put them in the air fryer drawer, 5 minutes on 200 if you're interested. And I put them in, I took them out, I showed them to him. He said, "They are disgusting, what's that?" I said, "That's fryer tuck." The ungrateful sod, he just looked at me in disgust. I said, "Look, everything I do it for you." A great thing to a great film. But yeah, going back to childhood, my kids said to me, we have different things to deal with compared to you. We have online bullying. Now call me an absolute genius, I've solved that one. And I'm not completely thick. I got a degree in lost property management from Bournemouth Uni. So yeah, call me a genius, I solved the online bullying. I stopped them going online. But then the kids still moaned at me. They still moaned. They said, "But how are we going to do our bullying now?" So that was a bit worrying. But anyway, I completely forgot what I was going to say next. So never mind. Going on too late. Don't have 2 pints before you try and remember most of your material. But they said to me, we had lockdown. I said, "Don't worry, I had long holidays too." They said, "Ah, but we had PE lessons with Joe Wicks." And I said, "Well, to be honest, yeah, you've got a very good point there. Now, kids during lockdown obviously couldn't go into schools, and so they weren't getting any exercise. So Joe Wicks, very kindly, he offered to do these PE lessons on YouTube. Now, sorry for the non-parents, going to talk about these PE lessons. How many non-parents have got to give us a cheer? So much more energy than the parents. That's good. Actually, non-parents is not a very good term to use. I think that's a bit patronising. I think lucky bastards would be a better one. Yeah. But yeah, so kids could not go into school during lockdown for fear of catching or spreading the deadly COVID virus. A virus which before the vaccine would leave you lying down, gasping for breath. So I'd go downstairs after they'd had these 30-minute PE lessons with Joe Wicks, and Joe Wicks himself would be out of breath after 10 minutes, so I don't know what he thought he was achieving. But I'd go down there after the lessons and they'd be lying on the floor out of breath, so I thought they had COVID. So that went completely against the whole point of the PE lessons. But COVID was strange times, weren't they? Very strange. I got done for speeding during lockdown. I had to do an online speed awareness course, and that was done on Zoom. Absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely true. Quite amusing. In the end, I think they did ditch Zoom and get another software, because even they, I think, eventually realised the inappropriateness of the name. But in the end, we battled with homeschooling. In the end, I went to the school and I said, "We've had enough, can the kids come in?" They said, "Are you a key worker?" I said, "Yes, I work for Timpson, just over the road." But there were some interesting statistics, weren't there? During lockdown, we had those press conferences every day. And I did some research in the day. Does anyone know what the average life expectancy is of a man in Scotland? Adult man?
78.
Very close. 80. In fact, 80. Anyone know what the average age was of a man that died of COVID in Scotland? 81. 81, you were here last month, weren't you? Well remembered. At least you're paying attention. So, only in Scotland could you catch a deadly virus and it prolong your life for an extra 12 months. If you want to live even longer, move to England. To be honest, my wife said to me, you can't do the COVID jokes, they're tasteless. And I said, no, that's just a symptom. Prior to last month, the only comedy I'd done was in churches, believe it or not, and not very much of a tough crowd. If you offend them, they just forgive you. Add your name to a list of people to pray for. But you're pretty great. I'm just going to do one last true story. This one I haven't made up. And I used to work for a company that had a dress-down policy. But if you had an interview internally, obviously you had to look smart, wear a suit and wear a tie. So I had an interview internally, and I was on my way to work. I saw a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, hello, John. Got an interview today." And I wasn't very impressed with his unoriginal line. I'm very much against unoriginal lines. You've heard my set. So I said, I thought I'd have a joke with him. So I went up to him and I said, "No, it's not actually. I've got a quarter pins." And he was very apologetic. And I said to him, "Don't worry, I don't think I'll get custodial. Most of the images are level 2. At that point, he looked shocked. And I was worried that he actually believed me when I was just joking. But I think he looked shocked because, in fact, it was in the school playground. It was my son's headmaster. I just dropped my kid at school. So I learned a lesson that day.
Yeah.
He didn't find it funny either. Anyway, you've been great. My name's John Amos. Thank you very much. Thank you, John.